Welcome to Trading Lounge and the European indices. I'd just like to start with the S&P 500 here, and this is the same for the Nasdaq and many of the Frank stocks within the Nasdaq as well. This particular pattern to the upside doesn't seem to be completed yet. So from wave 4 here to wave 5 here, we're looking for 5 waves. In that we have wave 1 and 2 in place, and we're 2/3 of the way through to wave 3 here. And we're looking for 5 waves in this wave 3 here, so 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and we're looking for wave 5 up here. We've had Thanksgiving in the US on the Thursday, and also the Friday will be, I think, half a day closing. Anyway, be lower volume as well, so it'll be a bit of a struggle around here. But all said and done, this particular structure to the upside doesn't appear to be completed yet. So the reason for showing this here is because this is going to have some sort of effect and pull on the European markets as well. So with the European markets, we've got a situation where we've got this wave 3 possibly in place already. Markets don't all top at the same time unless there's something extreme going on, and they don't finish all in the same way as well. So anyway, we're just being a little bit sort of careful. We're still bullish to the upside for the S&P 500, and no, that's going to, apart from today and Friday, because of Thanksgiving, when you have holidays, markets tend to do their own thing to a point, or do nothing, but this has still got further to go to the upside. So bearing that in mind when we look at start with the DAX. So with the DAX here, we're looking at wave 3 being in place here already, and we're looking down for, this is intermediate wave 3, and we're looking down for intermediate wave 4. And in this case here, there's a good chance that we've got wave 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 in play here already. And then we were looking for a corrective move here, going back to the 50-60% retracement level. So it's hit on the 50. It still could push up to the 61.8%. The thing here is that it's quite normal to call this an A and a B and a C wave here. But this move here is in 3 waves, and this is really quite clear on the cash market. So it bugs me a little bit. So I'm thinking that what we could end up having here, I'll go into this, but then we also need a little bit of strategy as well. So it's possible to have wave C over here and have wave B here, and have this as an A wave here, a B wave here in 3 waves, and a C wave here in 5 waves, and then we're looking for 5, because we've still got to see, what's happening in the US markets, and then down from that point, and moving down into that trend from that point. So that's a real possibility here. I'm just going to copy that and put that back over here. But what I'll do with this is I'll just put this in, shaded out here as a possibility here, and I'll just need to copy that as well. But I'll just put, actually I don't need to do that. What I'll do is I'll just, as long as we've got the C wave there, that's really the thing that matters. And we can remove this here and move this here, because I want you to be aware of this. We want to be aware of this situation here, of this wave C here, having a 3-wave structure here. So it's possible, this structure tells me that this can push up to wave C here, and also with the US markets as well, they've got higher to go as well. So that can line up with the US markets there as well. The case that we've got at the moment is for this wave 1 to be here, and then wave 2 to come back to maybe the 13,100, which would be the 61.8% mark or thereabouts. Let me just, doesn't look right, does it? Yeah, it's a bit of an optical illusion, but it's right. So what I was thinking is that we'll put this green line here on the bottom of this low here, because that would be, if I can just move these guys here as well, because, you know, if a market's going to move down through here, then see these retests here, this moves down through here, then comes back and retests, so we'll have that as the low, or then we'll have this one, this one's the breakout, and this is the retest here. So the breakout's important, but the retest is just as important as well. So this is what's occurred here. It's made the low here, it's testing supply again, the sellers, and if the sellers push it down, well then they'll trigger that one out here, and that's the way that we normally look at things. We have the sort of arrival, the reaction here, then moving through here, then the retest, and then we look at that and so on here. So we can do the same. So look, on the short side, just to be sure, this is the safe trade to the downside here, okay? And I'll leave that there and clean that up a bit, and that's fine. We'll leave that at that. So that really sort of gets across what I wanted to do then. I just wanted to show that the S&P can move higher, and this doesn't really, as a C wave here, it doesn't have 5 waves in it. It doesn't look like it on the cash market anyway, which I like to go off. It just looks like a 3-wave structure here, so a B wave, so an A and a B, and 5 waves for the C wave here, for the actual B, and then it can push up here. So I just want to be mindful of that, and the way we'll find the solution is just to short at that point there, and then put the stop back up here, and we'll be looking for a fair, you know, a long way down from that point. So this pretty much swings through to the other markets as well, but the ASX is a little bit different here, but I've got it like this here for this market here. Look, there's probably different ways to count this as well, but the safe trade on the short side would be taking this low out here, because it can move up into this space up here, and we'll look at that. We'll look at that if that's the occurrence there. But yeah, the main point is that that's the short trade trigger here. And if the number 3 here, the 43, the 543 becomes a tested support, then you know that you're going to be going up to up higher at that point. Okay, so we'll just leave that for the time being. We are looking for short trades, but we're not sticking our head in the sand and you know, shorting right here, which could probably be the optimal thing. But we don't, you know, if you're going to short, you want to look for the closest largest number, and then you want to be on that side of it as a resistance. You know, that will save a lot of losses once you get that simple idea, you know, locked in and work with that. And the UK market, it's the same story here again. There's a few different ways that I could count these lows here, and there's different ways to count this, but I kind of like the 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4 and the 5 here as a wave here, and looking at this as a B wave here, and then looking for 1 and 2, whoops a daisy, back for 2, 3, 4 and 5, and then moving down from that point. But at the same time, we'll use that low here to take any short trades from that point there as well. I think that's just the most logical, safe way to handle what we're looking at the moment. Alrighty, I'm just going to leave it at that. Just keep it sort of simple. We've got our triggers, and that's the main point, because the main trend that we're looking for is to the downside. We just need to be triggered in. We don't need to get in early. We just get in at the right time to make a nice balance between profit and safety of moving into the market. Alrighty, cheers.